Hey guys, welcome back, and in today's video, we will learn about the animation property and how to animate HTML elements on our website. So what is the animation property in CSS? In CSS, we can use the animation property to animate a HTML element on our website. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we must first create a HTML element we can use. You can choose any element you want, but for this video, I will be using a div element. Then, I will go to my CSS file and select that div element. I will set the background color red and set both the width and the height to be 50 pixels long. So if we run our code, we just see a red box on our website. Now that we have an element we can use, we can finally learn to animate it. To make an animation out of an element, we will use the animation property. But before we can use it, we must create a keyframes at rule. The keyframes at rule must be written separately from our main code in the CSS file, like this. The keyframes at rule are used for animation. It is written after the at sign. The reason why we have to use keyframes is because animations are complex and often too long to write in a single line. So we must write our animation instructions in the keyframes at rule and then write the name of our keyframe animation for the animation property. By now you might be wondering, what is the at in at keyframes? The at symbol in CSS used to tell the program that you are giving the browser a special instruction or command, not just regular styles. These are called at rules, and they are used when you want to do more than just styling, like giving instructions or commands. There are many other at rules, like at import, which lets you command the browser to import external CSS files. The media at rule instructs the browser to apply styles based on specific media queries, like screen size. And the font face at rule defines custom fonts to be used in the document. All of these at rules, with many others, give the browser instructions or commands. The reason why keyframes is an at rule is because it gives instructions to how an element should behave in the animation. After writing the keyframes at rule, write a name for your animation. It can be anything, but I will just name my animation Move Up. Whatever name you choose here will be the name you will write for the animation property. Write a set of curly braces. We will write our animation instructions inside the curly braces. When writing a keyframes at rule, we generally use the from and the to keywords to indicate the beginning and the ending position. First, we write the keyword, then we follow it with a set of curly braces. Inside the curly braces of the from keyword, we write the beginning position of the element. For the beginning position of my red box, I would use the margin left property and set the percentage to 0. And for the to keyword, we write the ending position of the element in the animation. For the ending position of my red box, I would use the same margin left property, but now set it to 100%. When writing the beginning and ending position of your element, I recommend using the same property, otherwise your program might not work. So if you are using margin left property for the beginning position, use the same property for the ending position. Now before we continue, if we would have just normally set the margin left property to 0% for our div element without using the keyframes at rule, we would see our red box at the top left corner. And if we had set the margin left property to 100%, we would see a small piece of our red box as it is pushed all the way to the right. But when animating an element using the keyframes at rule, our element would go smoothly from the beginning position to the ending position. But before we can see our element animated, it is necessary for us to set the duration of the animation, or how long the animation will last. To do that, we will use the animation duration property. This property would let us set how long our animation will be. When writing your duration in seconds, write your number and then add an S behind it. With our duration set and our keyframe animation selected, we are finally ready to run our code. If we run this, we can see that our red box is taking about 10 seconds to go to the right side. However, the animation stops when it reaches its ending position. But what if we want to run it back again a couple times, or to even create a loop? We can use the animation iteration count property. In CSS, there are many properties that can help us modify our animation. This is one of them. The animation iteration count property sets how many times we want to run our animation again. For its value, we can write any number of times we want our animation to run again. If we want to create a loop with no end, then we can set the value to infinite. If we run this code, we can see that our element is constantly looping because our value is infinite. Another property is the animation delay property. It delays the animation by a number of seconds we choose. So if we want our animation to begin 3 seconds after the user has entered the website, we can write 3s. If we run this, we can see that we had a short delay. Another property is the animation play state property. This property decides whether your animation is running or not. The default state of this property is running, which means that the animation is running. But if we change it to pause, the animation will be paused. The last property we would review in this video is the animation timing function. This property decides at what part your animation speeds up or slows down. Note that it has no effect in the duration, it is merely how it looks to the eye. One effect is the ease-in effect. It makes the element start off moving slow and end moving fast. Another effect is the ease-out effect. It makes the element start off moving fast and end moving slow. The third effect is the linear effect. It makes the element travel at the same speed every time. We can write our code this way, or we can save time and combine them in one line. We can simply write the animation property and then write our values. The first is the duration. It's how long the animation is. The second is the timing. It sets when your element speeds up or slows down. The third is the delay. It is how long it takes before the animation starts. The fourth is the iteration. It decides how many times we run back our animation. The fifth is the play state. It decides whether the animation is running or paused. And the last is the name of the keyframes animation that we will be using. Before we end this video, I just want to share another way we can write our keyframes at rule. Usually we write the keywords to and from to indicate the starting and the ending position of the animation. But if you want to be more detailed and do things in the middle between the starting and ending position, you can use percentage. The lowest percent or 0% is the starting position, while the 100% is the ending position of the animation. And we have all the points in between. For now, I will just change the color as we go. If we run this, we can see that our box is changing color every second. So yeah, the keyframes up rule and the animation property allows us to animate stuff. That's it for today's video. Like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.